east or south of the Roxbury Road, about 2 miles south, and I would imagine about 5 miles east.
And I understand, is this a Patrick farm now?
It's a Patrick farm.
Mm-hmm. Which of the Patricks lives there, do you remember?
Reuben Patrick did live there, and I don't know who's living there right now.
Mm-hmm. And it's close to the Mount Hope School. Mm-hmm. Then your grandmother, her name?
Her name was Hannah Johnson. That was her maiden name, and I don't know very much about her background
and
at all.
She married a Johnson, of course, but she also was born and raised in Sweden.
Yes.
But they were married here in this.
They were married here.
In this country. Now their sons. They had 2 sons, right?
2 sons, Arthur and Philip.
Arthur and Philip. And my records show that Arthur was born in 1882, and Philip, who was your father, in 1888. And then a number of daughters.
There were four daughters in the family.
4 daughters. The oldest one was who?
Josephine.
And
Agnes, Jenny, and Julia.
Jenny and Julia. Josephine married
Simon Larson.
Simon Larson.
And Agnes married Joe Larson. They were brothers.
They were brothers. 2 sisters married 2 brothers. And Jenny?
Jenny married Danford Danielson, a former classmate of hers, but they were married later on in years.
I see. And then Julia?
Julia married Alfred Pearson.
Did these ladies and their husbands and families live around here?
They lived here for quite a while until my Aunt Josie passed away, and then her husband remarried. My Aunt Jenny moved with Danford to California, and Aunt Julia lived here until her husband died, and then my Aunt Agnes lived here for a long time and raised her children, and her husband worked at the Rodney Mill.
I see. Now, is this the family here?
Yes, that's right.
Maybe we could get this picture and you can point out the members of the family.
The top one here was Agnes, and this is Arthur. This one is Philip, my father, Josephine, my Grandma Johnson, Jenny Johnson, and Julia, and my grandfather, Peter V.
So this is the Peter V. Johnson family. Okay. Now, your father was, of course, Philip Clarence Johnson, and he was born April 8, 1888.
That's right.
And died in 1962. Your parents were married March 13th, 1917. Your mother, who was she?
She was Ines Wan. She came over from Canton to work here.
We'll get to that later on. She worked at the Brunswick. Okay. Now there is something interesting about the Wallen family.
There's quite a history of the Wallen family. It is they came here, and we have all the records from them coming to the United States, which involves a great big book, which is very interesting. But they did settle in McPherson County at the northeast corner of the county. And they came here from England. They were Quakers in Pennsylvania. The genealogy starts in 1500 in England. And my mother's father came here from Iowa. I have his Civil War discharge papers. He enlisted when he was not old enough. And his parents didn't know that he was enlisting in the Civil War.
Now that was your maternal
grandfather.
What was his first name?
Lorenzo P. Wong.
Lorenzo P. Wong. And they settled, you say, on a farm near Canton?
Northeast of Canton.
Northeast of Canton. Okay, now we'll get to more details about your grandfather and father's work later on. But I want to turn now to Elmer to find out something about his your parents. On your maternal side, who was your mother?
My mother was Esther Fogelberg. She was the daughter of C.J. Fogelberg, that lived on a farm out just south of Bridgeport, where Tower Lake is located now, at the just in Saline County.
It was in Saline County.
It was in Saline County on the farm there. Then they moved to Lindsborg, and they lived on South Main Street, 400 and something South Main. And my mother worked at numerous jobs in town. She worked for Grundall Studios in the photo work, and then she went to work at the Brunswick as a second cook.
Oh, mm-hmm.
And my father came here as a cook because when he was working for the Santa Fe Railroad, he was a conductor for the Santa Fe Railroad. And they had a train wreck, and he was thrown from the top of the caboose and broke his hip and was crippled and was unable to do any more railroad work. And so he took up the profession of cooking. And he came here to be a cook at the Brunswick. And he was first cook, and my mother was second cook, and that's where they met.
That's where they met. Then your father then was
William P. Schamahorn.
William P. Schamahorn. But the Fagerbergs, as you pronounce it,
Yeah.
were also in the restaurant business?
No, they were not in the restaurant business. They were farmers, and I don't know what my grandfather did when he was here in town in the later years, but in fact, I don't know just right where the connection is that they're going back to the farm. But when my folks left the cooking profession, they went out and began to farm in the Bridgeport area. And my grandmother came out there and lived with us until she passed away when I think I was 6 years old at the time.
But didn't Esther?
Esther was my mother's name.
Didn't her parents run restaurants?
No, my mother and my father ran a restaurant in Bridgeport.
Oh.
After they gave up farming in 26, I guess it was. They started or bought out a restaurant there in Bridgeport, and they operated that restaurant for...
So this was the William P. Schamahorn. They ran a restaurant in Bridgeport.
And then at one time in 1929, they bought a restaurant in Assyria, and we moved to Assyria for just a little over a year. This was during the bust year in 29. And then we came back to Bridgeport again there, and till 41.
And he ran a restaurant in Bridgeport.
Yes.
What was the name of the restaurant, do you remember?
They just called it the Schamahorn Cafe or Bridgeport Cafe.
Bridgeport, Schamahorn, and Bridgeport Cafe. Do we have pictures of your, both of your parents?
Yeah, they're wedding pictures.
On our left here is, well, the right is...
This is my mother and father on this side. William Schamahorn and Esther Schamahorn. And on this side is Philip Johnson and Inez, Leona's mother and father.
Okay, it's nice that you have them together like that in a photograph.
And we've had this frame and decided that was the best use we could put to it.
Now we'll go back to Peter Johnson. Did we say that he was first farming?
He first farmed,
And then he, and that was up until the early 1900s.
Early
right?
1900s. They moved.
Then what did they do?
They moved here to town and built a home on South 3rd Street, 404 South 3rd.
404 South 3rd. Who would be living there now, do you know?
I don't know. Horan, one of the Horan boys, I think, is living there.
Forsbergs lived there for many
Forsberg,
years.
On the east or west side of the street?
West side. Kenny Forsberg's folks lived there for a long time.
I see. Then he took up what occupation in Lindsborg?
Well, they had the dray business. They had they owned almost that whole block and had buildings in through that area where they housed their horses and their vehicles that they used for the dray business.
Now we have some more pictures of the. This one would be.
That's early time. That's back of the old Levine grocery store and back of where the city building is right now, with the team of horses.
Back of where the city building is now.
Actually, it's that empty space right between the Tumpty and the city building. That used to be part of the Levine store there.
Yes, a frame
Yeah.
building, and that's where he had...
He was probably delivering groceries at that time when they took that picture.
I see. Now, just what kind of deliveries would he make in the dray?
Well, they met the trains. They did some hauling of furniture. They moved people into town and out of town with one of these trucks. And then once a week, my dad would go to McPherson, and he would he'd go early in the morning and load up the truck and come back with from Polar Mercantile Company. And that way they serviced all the grocery stores here in town. It was every Friday that he went in to get a truckload of groceries from Salina, because that's the only way they delivered besides the trains.
Now, would he go alone, or...?
Usually alone.
Would you ever go alone?
My brother and I went with him whenever we could.
You like to get out of town, huh?
We did. We'd also get candy at Polar's whenever we got
So you went to
Had a nice salesman.
Polar, Poehler Mercantile Company in McPherson. That was a wholesale dealer, and you'd bring back the groceries, other supplies for the Lindsborg grocery stores. And I understand there were 4 or 5 of them.
There was a number of grocery stores.
In these days. Now, I believe you said earlier that your mother came over from Canton and went to work at the Brunswick, didn't she? And that would be in 1916?
About that time.
About that time. And was she an orphan then at that time?
Her mother died when she was 9, and her father died when she was 15. So she went to live with an aunt for a while, and then she came back and lived with her 2 brothers. One brother was 18 years older than her, and the other brother was 22. So they kind of raised her.
Well, did they live in Lindsborg?
They lived in Canton.
Oh, in Canton.
And the home farm is still in Canton.
I see. And then she got a job in the...
She knew she had to get out on her own, and so she got a job as a dining room girl in the Brunswick.
In the Brunswick. And we have well, before we get... I guess this is all right. This is a picture of the Brunswick before it was remodeled, of course. Now, how many stories were taken off?
It was 3-story at the time.
And besides the dome.
There was a dome and then a 3rd story, right? A dome and a 3rd story, and that was taken off.
This would have had been taken about 1920, 1918, probably.
This picture,
In that
1918.
vicinity, I would think, yeah. See, it's a 3-story building at that time.
Well,
Yes. Well, that was still that way, of course, when I came back to Lindsborg.
your mother would not have taken it.
And this is what is this picture of?
I think it's a group of workers it would be on the north side of the Brunswick, over towards the kitchen area.
Yeah.
You can see the brick sidewalk.
These are some of the workers at the Brunswick, north side of the hotel.
My mother and father seem to be, as near as I can tell from the picture, 2 of them that are on that picture.
Your mother and father would be on there, but you can't place them, can you?
I think they are the... Yeah, they are the 2 right here on the left. I mean, on the... Well, facing it's on the right.
On our right. The 2 on the
left side
right.
of the picture.
Okay.
I might add something about that Brunswick. At the time, the dray business, the traveling salesmen used to come to town, and they would go to the Brunswick, and the dray business would bring their trunks and suitcases in,
For showing.
and they would spread their merchandise out in a display room there, and then all the merchants would come down, and that was a showroom for merchandise that was being sold by wholesale companies.
So Dad delivered the trunks to the hotel, or anything that was to be delivered was delivered by him.
I see.
And the merchants from small towns around, too, would come in to see this display of merchandise, and then they would give their orders to that salesman. And he would...
So this was kind of a center for salesmen here,
Yes.
and I suppose they would stay then at the salesmen would stay over at the Brunswick. Now, let's see, did Philip see any your father see any military service?
Yes, he was in World War II, or World War I, In fact, they were married just about a month before he went into the service.
Mhm.
And then he was in France, where he received he was kicked by a horse and had an injury. So he didn't get back when the rest of them got back. He had to
Is
stay
this
there.
a picture of
That's a picture
of your
of Dad.
father in his military
uniform.
service? Where did he serve?
He served in France
That would have been in during the war.
during the war.
Mhm.
He was with Connie Nordine and Fritz Levine much of the time. In fact, Fritz Levine has quite a few letters that they had
I mean, in the service
In the
with
service
Fritz
with-
Levine and who else?
Connie Nordine.
Connie Nordine.
He's no longer living.
Mhm. But Fritz, of course,
Fritz
is.
is still.
Do you remember any stories that your father would have told you about his military
not-
service in France?
Not too much. He didn't talk much about it.
A lot of people don't like to talk about them. Okay. Now, we've seen that picture of the family. Your mother, well, after their marriage, then they were in the dray business.
That's right.
Until what year?
Dad stayed in it until about 1940. No, or later, earlier than that.
1936.
About that time.
Mhm.
And then he let his brother go ahead and have the business, and he went out and did other work.
Mm-hmm. So Arthur then
Arthur took over.
together with his son Wally.
But
And
my grandfather was killed earlier than that.
Mm-hmm. How did that happen?
My uncle was ill that day, and he had a truck that wouldn't start, so he decided he was going to crank it, and he was in back of a little bit north of the Runbeck store. It was the Altenburg workshop at the time.
Would that be where the Swedish Crown is?
Almost in back of there.
Merle's Market.
Merle's
Back
Market?
to the store where
In through
Runbecks were.
Yeah.
Hmm.
In through that area, and he got pinned between the building and the truck as he was cranking it. It started itself.
And
So he died within a few hours after that.
I see. And how old were you at the time?
I must have been about 12,
I see.
13.
So you still remember him quite
Oh,
well?
yes, he lived with us for a couple of years.
Hmm.
In addition to the coal business, or to the dray business, they
Yeah.
also had a coal business.
Was that after? I mean, while he was in the dray business, he also had the coal.
Yeah,
business?
Dad did. Uh-huh.
They had
And
coal bins down right back across the alley from where we actually lived down there, right on the railroad track, in the alley back of First Street.
Oh yes, that would be west of the tracks,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and they had coal sheds
They had
there.
a number of coal sheds.
A number of coal sheds. Okay, now that was. Then did they also deliver coal?
They delivered coal to town, quite a few places in town, and I remember there were several different kinds of coal that we learned. Soft coal, hard coal,
Yeah.
the slack that people got for almost nothing.
Hmm. Hard and soft coal, and delivered to homes as well as the businesses
That's right.
in town. You did say that that your father worked for the railroad.
He worked for the railroad after he gave up the trucking business because things began to turn around and other trucks started to deliver into town. There wasn't enough to keep two families going.
The dray business.
Yeah, at that
So
time.
what kind of work did he do on the Union Pacific
He
Railroad?
was a section hand on
A
the
section hand. Oh yes. Would he have been on the railroad at the same time as Mr. Opad was? Didn't
Oh,
Mr.
yes.
Opad
He
work
was with him.
with
Ewing. Yeah, they worked together.
They worked together.
Mhm.
I see. So he was a section hand on the Union Pacific Railroad until he retired.
That's right.
And then he would have started in during the Depression, I guess, latter years of the
Probably about
Depression.
1937, 36.
1937, 36. While we're on the subject of railroads, how many railroads were there in town then?
Just the two.
The two. The Union Pacific was one of them on which your father worked, right? Where was that located?
It was a track that goes through on the east track, and with the depot, they had The train just ran between Salina and McPherson at that time.
That's still in operation.
It's still in operation.
That's the depot building that's now in the South Park,
That's
the
right.
Heritage Center. And the Missouri Pacific Station, where was that located?
That's the west track, and that depot was about a block straight west of the other depot.
Whatever happened to that building?
They tore
They
it
just
down.
tore it all down. Okay. Now, your mother, I think you might have some interesting things to say about her. About the chicken cleaning.
Oh. Oh, during the Depression when things were very, very rough, why, almost every Saturday she would clean chickens for Levine's. And I think she only charged 10 cents per chicken to pluck and to clean a chicken.
Only 10 cents a chicken.
We could never stand to eat chicken.
Is that right? 20 or 25 chickens, I suppose.
Quite a few.
Yes. Now, your parents, where did they live in Lindsborg?
They lived on Jackson Street, east.
On Jackson Street?
East of the highway.
Earlier they lived on South 2nd, though.
Yeah. We first lived on 224 South 2nd and then moved to a larger place because there was 2 acres of ground out there, and Dad wanted he liked to garden, so we had a beautiful garden.
Now, you must remember a lot of things about the Messiah Week in Lindsborg.
Definitely. When we lived on South 2nd Street, Dad, during that week, he was busy hauling trunks and people to and from the trains, passenger trains that came into town. And we had a 4-roomed house, 1 bedroom, but that week we always had people staying with us the full week. I don't know where we slept, I can't remember, but we had somebody staying in our house, usually 1 or 2 people.
Is that right?
So,
did you have to give them meals then, too?
Evidently Mother at least got them their breakfast.
Oh.
So it was a bed and breakfast.
Yes, that was when during the days when there were special trains.
They came in just for the week.
Just for the Messiah.
Did your dad play in the orchestra at that time?
He played in the orchestra before that, earlier.
Your father, Philip, played in the
played violin in the orchestra.
In the orchestra. What about was Arthur a musician too?
Yes, he belonged to the mandolin club.
He was one of the members of the mandolin club. Did they provide a lot of entertainment?
They did. They loved to perform. They enjoyed. In fact, after Dad retired, he had not played violin for years, and he decided he was going to play again. His hands were stiff, his fingers were stiff, and he would go down the basement and practice. Then he'd go up to Bethany home and play for hours.
To entertain the guests at the Bethany.
We have some tapes of his, and records too, that were cut by the Holmberg sisters of him playing violin.
Oh.
With those old knurled arthritic fingers, he was able to still
He loved it.
finger a
Did
violin.
he also do any of the old-fashioned fiddling?
No, he didn't.
He was
Yeah,
classical, more
definitely,
classical.
He had,
So not country.
Classical and religious.
yeah.
Classical and
He loved to play religious music.
And religious. Now, I suppose then you still have his violin.
I have his violin. I played it from the time I was in 6th grade all through high school, and then I dropped it from the
But
It's on the wall.
she now had me frame it and hang it on the wall, so it would be an excuse she wouldn't have to play again.
But it was quite an old violin.
The date on the inside of the violin is 1813.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
A little paper in the side that's
Beautiful
glued to the
violin.
inside of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. There is a story about your grandfather that might be interesting to. You said that this was in Pastor Bergene's book, but not in the translation.
That's right. They left it out of the other book, and when they condensed it.
That's rather interesting. Why don't you read it for us?
This was when they lived out on the farm southeast of town. This story, in May 1869, P.M. Elmquist and Peter V. Johnson walked northwest from Salina in order to find Mr. Elmquist's father and brother John, who had taken land by Spillman Creek. They had walked about 8 miles when they saw a pretty black and white animal running on the road. Mr. Johnson playfully pushed the animal with his foot. Suddenly they were covered with a foul odor, which almost choked them and ruined their food and clothing. 18 miles from Salina they came to a dugout. A woman met them at the door. She pointed out to them to the Spillman Creek. Night came, and when they arrived at their destination, before they arrived at their destination, so they remained overnight with an Irishman who lived by Saline River. The next day they found Elmquist's father and brother. Father Elmquist's home was a hole in the river bank covered by 2 quilts. Sunday afternoon, May 6th at 2 o'clock, Elmquist and his brother and father and Peter Johnson were sitting in a wagon in front of the dugout when a band of 16 Indians came riding by. The Indians shot at them, 1 bullet hitting the wagon near Elmquist. The Swedes then forced their way into the dugout where they found ammunition and weapons. They held the Indians at bay, killing 2 of them. 3 times the Indians tried to reach the dugout, but they were repelled by the white man's bullets. The men remained in the dugout all night, and the next day, on Monday, 6 cavalry men arrived. The Swedes went to the soldiers and found the countryside devastated and 13 white people gruesomely murdered. Elmquist helped bury some of them. They wrapped the bodies in what rags they could find and dug a deep hole and placed the bodies in it, covering them with sod. 2 women and 1 child were taken captive by the Indians. 1 woman tried to escape but was killed, and the child, who was 8 days old, was dashed against a stump and killed by one of the Indians. One day the other woman noticed some soldiers coming to the camp, and she acted as though she was searching for something and managed to get away from the camp. When she saw the soldiers were close enough, she ran to them and was saved. A good many times I know Grandpa had said that he had walked to Salina to get supplies, so that was evidently something they had to do very...
That's a rather unusual... a lot of what I've heard, a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but a number of the people who talked about their ancestors, and they indicate that for the most part the Indians were more or less friendly, but I guess there were exceptions. I've heard of a massacre southwest of, what is it, on Indian Creek, I believe, once. Okay. Now, your father went out of the dray business, and also his brother eventually went. But were they the only people in the dray business in Lindsborg?
There was another dray business, the Andersons.
Hilding Anderson.
Hilding, yeah.
Hilding Anderson's father.
Claus Anderson.
Claus Anderson.
It was known as People's Transfer, was the name of that one.
People's Transfer. And did he also have a coal business?
He had a coal business also, and it was on the Union Pacific tracks, where Dad's was on the Missouri Pacific tracks.
I see. That was contemporary with your father. So there was competition.
Definitely. And even they lived pretty close to each other, too, when they were growing up.
It was on the east side of the tracks where the big ammonia tank over there is now. That's where their bins were.
Off of Lincoln.
Off north of north side of Lincoln,
just east of the Union Pacific tracks.
Where those... do you remember when there was an ice plant?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
My brother worked at the ice plant for a while, didn't he?
Where was that? That was...
In with Farmers Union.
It was in connection with their locker plant there now.
Oh. Well, what kind of a building was there that housed that?
That was the building. They've just remodeled that building, and that's now their locker plant.
Oh, that was the ice.
Yeah. Now, on the north side, from where the office is, at the place where you go in and buy meat there at the locker plant, around just to the north edge of that same building was where the ice was brought out of the ice freezing compartments, and they'd slide it onto the trucks right off of that dock on the north side of there. Now I think it's a packing plant or something. But
and they were operating here then when you were here?
They operated until in the late 40s, wasn't it?
Did you ever hear anything about the ice plant when they had to get the ice from the river? Was that ever told you when you were young?
Not that I...
Well, they didn't. This plant here was strictly made from city water. But in the early days, they did get ice from the river. They would have saw. They'd go down and saw the chunks of ice out, and then they'd put it on an ice sled, draw it up from the river with horses, and put it in a shed below ground, and then cover it with baled straw, or not baled straw, but bulk straw. And there was one of those ice houses out in the Bridgeport area on the Harry Perrell farm.
Was there one? I don't. One in
Supposed to be one here in town, but I don't know where
I
it
think
was.
it was somewhere in the vicinity where Elmer Copley lives, somewhere
Runbeck.
Could very likely be
around
on the Runbeck farm.
around there. This ice. Who ran this ice plant again? East of
Blumgren did, didn't he?
Blumgren.
Yeah, M.T. Blumgren.
M.T. Blumgren. But then earlier there had been an ice plant in what was known as the Fair Building, which is on Lincoln, west of Main
That's
Street
right.
on the south side.
Yeah, they had,
Was that the train?
yes.
It's the old train building.
They were really the ones that started the ice, didn't they? Or was it was contemporary with Blumgren, or did Blumgren
I think
come
they
in?
probably were in business both at the same
Both
time,
at the same time?
in competition.
I see. Now then,
The
how did-
second one stayed in operation longer. I think the one down on Lincoln Street, I think, was in operation after the other one.
Yes, 'cause
because
the
Whitey's
other-
owned it
Yes.
later.
They also had produce in another building
yeah.
down there. Did you ever hear any story of why they called that the Fair Building?
No, I don't recall.
It seems to be somewhat of a mystery. Now, how did you two happen to meet?
On a dare.
But you didn't work at the Brunswick.
Oh, no,
No.
no.
She came to work for a family north of Bridgeport.
Oh,
I knew who you were.
and had coffee.
She knew who I was because I had been dating her.
And had
girlfriend.
coffee over at the coffee shop, or
Yeah.
No,
I used to come to
she used to have to drive this Mrs. Anderson to the doctor each day in the hospital in Salina.
Mhm.
And so she would come to town to gas the car.
pick up
And a
the
group
mail.
of us boys were sitting around this garage where she gassed the car, and one of the boys says, "There's a girl that you can't date. I dare you to date. Go ask her for a date." And they don't ask me on a dare. I went right out and asked her for a date, and she knew who I was, so
It's
she
been
took me up.
That was it.
46 years ago.
47 years ago.
Your occupation, I know that you were a postmaster, but
I worked for the Air Force during the war, and then when the war was over and it looked as though the air base may close, I took a postal examination and became a city letter carrier. And I was a city letter carrier for about around 19 years, I guess, something
really?
in that vicinity, and walked the streets of town. And then the postmaster's position came open, and I applied for it and was accepted. And I was postmaster then until I retired in '76.
so how many years were you a postmaster?
68 to 76.
Mm-hmm.
8 years.
Mm-hmm.
But in all, I had a little over 34 years of civil service time,
Mm-hmm.
air base time, plus my Army time,
Mm-hmm.
plus postal time here.
And then you have done, I know, secretarial,
Yeah, I had 16 years here at Bethany.
16 years at Bethany. Mm-hmm. You also worked at the gallery for a while.
Yeah, for about 3 years.
3 years at the gallery. Now, your children?
We have one son that lives in California, and his family, and then we have a daughter that lives in Overland Park.
What
Her
is your
family.
son's name?
Gerald.
Gerald.
And we have a daughter that's going to be graduating from Irvine. Granddaughter. From Irvine, University of California at Irvine now in December.
And your daughter's name?
Carol.
And she lives in...
She lives in Overland Park.
She's married?
Yes, and she married Arva Lusky.
Lesky.
Ilusky.
Ilusky, I see. Do you remember any other stories or information that we might have
You forgot that
skipped?
grandson.
Oh, yeah, we do have a
We
grandson.
have one
He's 11.
grandson. It's Carol's son.
He's 11.
Oh, grandson.
And our granddaughter, of course, she's graduating now from college, but
Mhm.
he's 11.
Those pictures of the trucks, those old,
Oh, yes,
old
we,
trucks.
when they went from
Horse.
the horse, this is the early one, when they had the horse. And then, this one is a picture of the Johnson and Sons transfer. That was would this be one of the earliest trucks?
That's one of the first trucks, I'm sure of it. I don't know what make it is or any idea on the year of that.
Is that the one with
I
the
think
hard
it
tires?
says, yeah,
Wood spokes.
yeah, they're wood spokes and
The solid tires on it. if I'm not
solid
mistaken.
tire. It must have been rather bumpy.
Yeah, it was.
And
I'm not sure whether that was a Mack or not. Oh, that's a Ford.
here is another. Would you know? This is a transfer on it. Where would they be parked there?
They're parked right in front of John Altenberg's, I think.
It says shop, some kind of a.
Where John Altenberg's office is. They had offices in that area.
Oh, is this on Lincoln
Lincoln
Street?
Street. That's where it looks like.
Then?
I think that was a truck that had the wooden piece that Dad, the highway between Lindsborg and McPherson was not paved. So he rigged up a thing back of the driver's
Kind of
seat
like a railroad tie with some chains.
with a rope. And when they were climbing a hill and they couldn't make it on a certain gear, he would let down this lever that would wedge the truck into the ground, and he would go and shift until he got to the top of the hill.
You didn't shift gears, downshift like you do on the trucks today. You practically came to a stop to go shift down.
Something was put into the ground to.
Yeah, it was a board with a piece of iron at the end that acted as kind of a lever. I can remember. I could still see that.
When he
Instead
would
of
start
brakes.
forward, when he would start forward again, well, then that would raise up out of the ground. Then he could pull his lever and raise it up so it would be hanging on a chain until they needed it the next time to
I'm sure
drop it.
I'm sure that's the truck that had it on, and he rigged that up.
Yeah. You said that the truck is parked in front of where the Altenberg Gusenius Law Office is now.
right.
I talked to some people who have told me a lot about some of the old businesses on Main Street, but what do you remember the furthest thing back on Lincoln Street, east of Main Street? Do you remember? Can you tell me what some of the businesses were?
Well, this area, they had an office there with M.P. Bloomgren together, where he was a cleaners at one time, too. But then also there was a newspaper in through that area.
The telephone office now is.
No, it was east of the telephone office, where the Progress newspaper was.
A Progress newspaper.
Progress newspaper,
Who
that was
published? Do you know who published that?
I don't know who owned it, but there was a man by the name of Burkholder that came into town.
Was it a political?
It could have been.
A Progress.
It should be,
Called it the Lindsborg Progress.
And then, of course, the city building was there on the corner.
That was on the corner. But this was a building after east of the alley. These buildings were all there.
The city hall is now where the REC is.
On the north side of the street,
Yeah.
the city hall.
Well, post office was there too.
Yeah.
East of the Sundstrom building. Then the post office was where the REC building is. And then what else was there? The post office.
The city, that was the city hall. In fact, if you know on the nameplate up on the top of the building, it says City Hall about 1909 or something. It's a date, I don't recall.
Plus the fire trucks were in the
The fire
east.
trucks were in where the REC now keeps their
Yes.
building. And I'm not sure, but what the some of the offices were upstairs. There was one.
Chester Peterson's papers,
yeah.
or paper publishing is there, magazine publishing is up there.
Well, when the post office was at that other building, Dad also met the trains. 6 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 at night, wasn't it? And he would bring the mail to the post office every morning, and well, it was twice a day, 7 days a week, that he would bring the mail to the post office.
And then there was a vacant lot then where the new post office then is apparently. And I've heard that at some times that the Chautauqua tent would be put there on that
medicine shows and so forth.
yeah. Shows in that corner.
That
And
building
then-
was built in 1936. The post office.
The post office during the Depression.
And they moved then just right next door to the. From
And
there.
directly south on the corner was an implant or a
Automotive business, car
What?
dealer.
Car dealer. What automobiles were?
Ted Wolf.
Ted Wolf had a Chevrolet business in there at one time.
Ted Wolf.
It was
And then Schaefer,
Wilma Schaefer.
Wilma Schaefer's husband, I can't think of his first name, had a Chrysler sales business in a Chrysler Plymouth.
I see.
And then they built their own building out on the highway out there where, right south of the quick stop.
And then Was it the automobile business up until Eldon's went in there?
I
Market?
believe it was. I don't recall of any other business in there from besides the door on what's now where the produce department is. That was an entrance from the street, so you could drive your automobiles in. And,
The door where the produce.
well, there's not a door over there now. They built that solid across the front, but the entrance to one of the entrances to the building was over there, and then the showrooms were east of that towards the corner.
I see.
The parts department was in there. Then there was also an Overland sales agency in where the cleaners were. In fact, right above you can see the Overland or something about an automobile shop there. Overlanders. Oldsmobile or something. I can't recall. See what the nuttering is, but that was another business there. And in fact, in the walk going in, the word Overland used to be in brass letters embedded in tile in the floor there.
Okay. Do you remember anything else now that you'd like to share about
Where the city building is now, on the lot just east of it, where they store their sand pile and their blacktop for the streets repair and so forth, was well, actually where the city building is now. M.T. Bloomgren wanted to have his office over there, so he came to Bridgeport and bought our old restaurant in 1941, I guess it was, right after my father passed away. And he moved that to Lindsborg and set it on that spot. There was a brick building right next to the alley. There was another garage. That's one that Malcolm Esping was hurt in, the one that he's still suffering from his problem.
Are you talking about east of the present city building?
East of the present city building.
That's where it is.
And this, but the building that was brought here from Bridgeport.
The maintenance building.
Yeah, the maintenance shop.
Building.
Part of it, just east of the police department. That
you're
part
talking
there.
I see.
Yeah, we're talking about the maintenance building.
I see.
This building that was once the restaurant in Bridgeport was moved in there, and it was a real estate office for M.T. Bloomgren until he passed away. Then it was sold to Nordstrom.
Oscar Nordstrom.
Oscar Nordstrom.
For shoe.
And he had a shoe shop in there and did shoe repair. Then when he died, Leo Opat worked for him, and so Leo Opat became the shoe repair man.
Oh, I didn't know.
Until he retired out of the shoe business or the shoe repair, and he took the building and moved it on to South Chestnut, about 410 South Chestnut, and that's the nucleus of his home.
The old restaurant.
They took that old restaurant building.
Whose home again?
Leo Opat.
Oh.
They just set that building down there and began expanding on it and made it a home.
That's
so
very interesting.
That building has started out and progressed along for a number of different families.
Yes. Well, I think we neglected to use two of these pictures. This one is of your parents.
That's of my parents. They're sitting on the front lawn.
This would
I'm
be
not sure whether it's down at the
William P.
Schamahorn.
And your mother's name was
Esther Matilda
Fagerberg. And
the other picture is the home on South.
Your mother
on South Main Street in the 400 block.
Main Street.
She said it looks like she's watering the flowers there or something.
They lived there on when they moved to Lindsborg.
Yes,
404 South Main Street. You know what house is that now?
Well, I think it's the Edgar Prickett house.
Oh, it's for sale now, I believe.
Yeah, it is for sale.
Well, I certainly do thank you both for
been enjoyable.
It's been very interesting talking with you about your experiences in Lindsborg and your family and so on. Thank you again.
Of course, as time goes on, there's probably much more could be said, but I can't recall it all at once.
Right.